one thing is for certain is that it's not business as usual anymore. The world is changing. Things are going to be different now. Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to try to explain why everything feels so weird now. Like why the world just doesn't feel like how it used to, and things for some people may feel better than it was, and for other people it may be worse, right? And it's essentially because one age is ending or has ended already, and we're just feeling the aftershocks of that age that has ended, and a new world has begun. And for some people, they may have names for it, they may categorize it. So some people may classify it as the age of magic has ended and the age of science has begun. Some people may classify it as the age of Pisces is ending and the age of Aquarius has begun. But nonetheless, it is true that one time is over, a new time has begun. Some people may classify it as the time of the Western world ruling the world has ended, and now it's going to be a multipolar world instead of a unipolar world. And all of those things may be true, or none of them may be true. But one thing is for certain is that it's not business as usual anymore. The world is changing. Things are going to be different now. And this video, so I see a lot of YouTubers, a lot of creators, they only highlight the problems. They only talk about the problems of how bad things are or how bad things must be and things like that, and or how good maybe. But for me, I try to provide solutions. I want to try and, you know, pass on what I see as solutions anyway, and in hopes of helping people live better lives. So let's tap into this a little bit. So let's say, you know, the time that is, let's go with the age of Pisces versus the age of Aquarius. So the age of Pisces, as you know, is with the fish. A lot of people say that age was ushered in with the birth of the one they call Jesus Christ. So, or the birth of Yahshua ben Yosef, or however you choose to categorize him. Some people may say the prophet, or whatever you want to classify, but the age of Pisces began in that time, roughly about 2,100 years ago. And that's how long it takes for one age to pass, about 2,100 years, right? Or so they say. That's, you know, neither here nor there. But, so that age was an age of magic and regimented rules. It was ruled primarily by the church, or, you know, or by religion. So it was ruled primarily by religion, and there were strict regimented rules that everyone followed, and everyone knew those rules. And, you know, not everyone followed them, but for the most part, society was governed by those rules. And now we're finding that in this new age, and I believe the age of Aquarius started back in like the 60s, and there was like a huge shift, you know, from like the 50s to the 60s, and we're just now starting the after effects. Things are starting to settle, and you're seeing a lot more people are like, their brains have been like opened up, and they can see things they never saw before. They're thinking thoughts they never thought before. You know, some people were friends with people that they're like, why was I even friends with you? Like, we're on two, you know, we're ideologically, we're so different, you know? And it's like a huge awakening that's happening now. And I would say this new age is more based in freedom. It's more based in freedom, and freedom of thought, freedom of action, freedom of movement, as well as freedom from all those old archaic ways and you know, regimented rules and stuff like that, to where people are going to start living their true lives. People are going to start being who they really are. And you'll see it. You'll see, like, the people that are truly evil, they're going to do evil things now. You're going to see them really, you know, show themselves and be who they are. And the people that are good, you're going to see that they're really going to start popping out. The people that are good are going to start doing the good things that are in their heart that they're meant to do. It's just going to happen naturally, you know? And also, we're now more in a time of science where we're going to understand, like before we may have classified certain things as magic, and instead we're going to classify like, okay, this happened because of this affected this, and that's why this happens. And we're going to advance a lot more as a species during this time than we have before. It's going to be rapid growth between, you know, our own understanding of ourselves, of life, and the world around us, and technology will probably play a huge part in that. But what I want to caution is, in this time of freedom and science and discovery and exploration, is that we still need rules. And what I recommend is that we keep our rules simple. Go back to simple things like do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You know, simple. Like if you don't want something to be done to you, then don't do it to somebody else. If you'd like something to be done to you, then okay, try to live in that way where you can do those type of things for other people, you know? Another thing is try to embrace love. Like try to do everything in love. And I think no matter what you do, so a lot of people, they get caught up into, I make this amount of money, I have this car, I have this house, I have this, and now we're in that age where that doesn't matter as much. People don't care as much about that. It's like, okay, you do well for yourself, great. Okay, you hit the gym a lot, you work out a lot, great, that's good for you, awesome, you know? But what are you contributing to society? What are you contributing to the human, you know, experience on our planet? And that's going to start mattering a lot more. So I think we have to start living in that context. Like some people, their whole world is literally like, oh, you know, I work for this company and I've been doing it for 50 million years and I make so much money and, you know, my life is great. Okay, that's great. Your life is great. But how do you make other people's lives better, you know? And do you even care about other people? And I think what's going to happen, you're going to start seeing society phase out those type of people. They're going to just start ignoring the people that don't contribute anything to the human experience, you know? And the people that do, they will live in a more abundant lifestyle. They would start being appreciated more by society and by people overall. So that's one thing that I want to put out there, so that if you're in a headspace where you're stuck and you're like, man, I don't know how to thrive in this new world, focus on being your true self, focus on being who you really are, and then focus on being the best version of yourself. Focus on basically just being a good person, you know? And that's my ultimate advice to you, is to first get to know who you are for real, without the veneers, without the, you know, the platitudes and all that. Just really try to figure out who you really are under all the pretending and the mask and all. Get rid of all of those things and figure out who you really are as a person. Then figure out how you can become the best version of yourself and become a person that your kids would be proud to know and people for generations would love to know. Try to become that person. And I think in doing so, everything will fall into place for you, you know? Like, I see that right now they're saying AI is going to take over a lot of the jobs and stuff like that. And okay, that may be true. Maybe it's time for, like I've said this before, maybe it's time for a universal income where governments and societies basically get rid of poverty in every which way that you can think of, you know? Get rid of poverty and instead start living in a way where we don't have to worry about money anymore. So now we can start focusing on ourselves and start focusing on our personalities and start focusing on what makes us human and start exploring it. I think I saw something the other day, right? Sorry. Yeah, I saw something the other day where they were talking about where is crime the highest, right? And they tried to look at it like it's not, you know, they looked at it like realistically. And it's not a white thing, it's not a black thing, it's not a race and it has nothing to do with the color of someone's skin. Crime is highest where poverty is the most. So if there's like a lot of poverty somewhere, that's where you're gonna find where the crime is highest. So I think for the people that are worried about crime and criminals and all that, focus on getting rid of poverty. Focus on the element that creates the crime. And I think once you do that, once you get rid of the poverty, then our planet and our species will really start thriving, because we can all focus on other things now. Like, we don't have to worry about a roof over our head, or we don't have to worry about food on our plate, you know, or having transportation or anything like that. So once those things are done, there's no more poverty, then we could really start living up to our true potential as human beings. Like, that's something that I strongly believe. So for leadership, for the people that are in leadership positions, I think this should be their number one goal, is to get rid of poverty worldwide, and instead of being afraid of people having the freedom of choice or just freedom in general, stand behind it, you know, promote freedom, and let people be free to be who they really are, and tell people the truth about things rather than instead of trying to trick them and, you know, and mislead a lot of people. Let people see the truth and give them a choice. And that way you can really know what's in people's hearts. You can really know, rather than trying to survey everything and control, and get rid of all of that, and instead focus on getting rid of poverty, and then also get rid of, like, I would say that control, that need to control everyone. I think once we get rid of that need to control and we let people be who they are, because truthfully, people are going to be who they are regardless. People will be who they are regardless of what you do. So for the people that are in leadership, I think they should focus on promoting freedom, and, you know, freedom of choice, freedom of where people want to live, break down the barriers, let people live wherever they want to live. Instinctively, the people that all think and live a certain way will end up grouping together and going where they fit in best. So let's say there's a group of people that have more of a Viking mentality. They're gonna all choose to go live where everyone else has that mentality. And let's say there's a group of people that are more like the hippies, like they have that hippie mentality. Then they're all gonna kind of go where that group of the hippies are. You may have some people that are nomadic, and they may just, you know, roam the world. But I feel like if we let people be who they really are, don't try to control them, and let people be who they really are, things will just unfold naturally in a way that will be pleasing for everyone. And then the people that are like on the cusp, they don't know who they really are, they can travel to all these different places where people are different ways, and they can find themselves and find out who they truly are, people that are lost, you know what I mean? But I think, you know, freedom should be embraced, promoted, and poverty should be eliminated worldwide. Get rid of poverty. There shouldn't be, with all the technology and all the things that we have available to us today, there shouldn't be anyone without a home or without food. Like, that should be totally abolished. And I think in understanding this new age, we can do a lot. We can go very far if we embrace freedom, we get rid of poverty, and we start trying to create the best versions of ourselves all the way around, from the government down to anybody that's just watching this video. But that's my solution to how things are now. And I think once the world starts kind of moving that way, food will taste better, music will sound better, you know, you'll enjoy things more, because you'll be living life in your true skin. You'll be living life for who you really are, and doing things you really want to do, instead of just doing things that you're forced to do just to, you know, to put food on your plate. You know what I mean? And I think that's when our species will really start shining and thriving. And who knows what we'll do then? Like, the possibilities are endless, you know? But that's my take on where we are now, and where we have been, and also where we might be. Like, I think, you know, once the planet is in alignment and and like I said, poverty is gone, and we're all kind of just being who we truly are. The real innovators, the real inventors, the real artists, the real everything will start shining, because I feel like right now they're held back and they're held down because of those old strict rules. Like imagine there was a time where different class of people, no matter the color, if you weren't born into the right class, you weren't allowed to read, you weren't allowed to write, you weren't allowed to educate yourself. And just imagine how many amazing inventors and discoveries were denied because of those regimented rules. Now imagine how far we're going to go now when we get rid of the remaining regimented rules and start embracing truth and freedom and real truth, you know, and we get rid of poverty. Imagine how far the human experience will go, and imagine the inventions and the things that we'll create now under those circumstances. So that's just something I wanted to kind of put out there today, and hopefully it finds the right people and it helps us elevate as a species and just improve life on our planet altogether, and hopefully even life outside of our planet. Hopefully we'll be able to start traveling to other planets, terraforming planets, and spreading out as a species into the universe, you know. But that's it for this one, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. King Keston out.